Hello, 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 everyone. Good morning to me. I am in Boston at the moment. My name is Thales Peterson. I am the host of the 1% Club podcast. It is an honor to be back here again. We're in the very early stages of our podcast, so we're still trying to figure it out how things work. I was uploading some of the podcasts and I kind of messed up. I don't know how to do the whole tagging people and commenting and all of that, but we're learning. We preach what we practice here, and the objective is to bring you guys guests that will teach us, that will tell us about a little bit of their journey so we can learn and understand that success doesn't happen overnight. It is a process, it's a very long process, years in the making, and we view people sometimes from other countries that come to the US and they are where they are now, but we don't see the journey before. We think it's all wonderful and butterflies and rainbows, but it's not always that way. There's a lot of adversities, difficulties that go through, that everybody goes through. And my objective is to teach everyone two things. One, success doesn't happen overnight, and it's not a matter of not having difficulties, it's a matter of learning how to deal with them when they come. It's a matter of fact that we will have times, periods, phases that things are not as good as we would like them to be, but we can make it through. And my guest today is someone that I follow on social media. And I saw the other day that he posted a picture simply with a mattress and basically an empty room, giving the idea of here I am starting again. And I love those stories. So I reached out to him and I said, hey, I admire that so much. Is someone that has been very accomplished already. And we're going to talk a little bit more about his history. But again, he just started a new phase of his life. He just became a college soccer coach and he's looking for growth. He is getting again uncomfortable. He's getting comfortable by being uncomfortable, and I admire that very, very much. So he is very different than a lot of people that go to other countries and they once they get a job, they stay there, they become stable, and this guy is always looking to improve, to grow. So I am a huge fan. I've met him when he was living in Florida, and now he moved on, and I'll let him introduce himself a little bit more and tell everyone what he's up to now. But his name is Guilherme Henry. He is also from Brazil, just like me. He is from Rio, has a lot of extensive background in soccer as a coach, as a player as well. So, Gui, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Thales. And I'll be honest with you, the whole time that you were talking, I'm just agreeing with you in everything you say, and I support a lot your mindset, the project that you're having, because I think nowadays people need more of reality. I feel like social media and all that, it's a big illusion, for you to achieve the success. There is a lot of adversity is on the way, and I'm happy that you understood why I posted the picture, because a lot of people reach out to me and ask me like, oh, are you sad, like be strong and all that, and I'm like, not sad at all. Like, I want to show reality, because a lot of people see, I'm very blessed that I have achieved some success already in my career, and people think everything's so easy for me, so comfortable and all that, and actually it's very the opposite, and I want to share a little more of that, because I feel like nowadays everybody wants to show the easy success, but there are no easy success. What are the things that help you to be successful? So I'm very happy to be here. I hope that whatever I share here can bring some insights to people and can help them to understand and use in their life, so hopefully they can achieve what they have to achieve in life.
Absolutely. And life is not a highlight reel. Everybody thinks is, oh wow, it's so wonderful. Yeah, we have moments of bliss, moments that yes, it is wonderful, but it's a very long movie, and we are the ones writing the script, and we write the script on a daily basis. So there is no end. One of my favorite sayings, and I was in a meeting right before we got on, and I said to a parent that I was meeting, he was really worried about his son being 11 years old and he's not aggressive enough and he's not playing to the best of his abilities. And I said, look, you don't have to be the best, you have to become the best at getting better. So at 11 years old, I don't want the kid to be that good. I want him to have the passion and to continue to develop and to grow. So, Guy, I would like to start right away with the picture. Can you explain the meaning behind where you are now and what that picture represented for you and what is going on? Where have you moved from and where are you at this very second? What's going on in your life right now?
Oh, that picture actually, I think for me was something I enjoy to share. I think like I had 200 likes, and I don't have that many likes usually in the stories I make and all that. And to be honest, I was like, should I post? Should I not post? But again, I feel like nowadays a lot of people are struggling because they think they are behind in life and then, they're not meant to be successful or whatever. But as you say, like, I think you need to be comfortable being uncomfortable, and I think that was like I think it's funny that whenever you came to watch our game and Nona, we won the game and you asked me like, why are you so stressed? And like I have these something inside of me that demands excellence all the time from
Yeah,
everything and from myself. A lot of people criticize me sometimes, and I'm like, I criticize myself even more.
yeah.
So I was in Knoxville after Nona. I left to one Knoxville. I was a technical director there for 1 year and 3 months, I feel. Uh, for me, it's very was a very important part of my life because I was very uncomfortable. Uh, I had to share room apartment with two Brazilian guys. They were like 18, 19, like very different lifestyle, different, all that. And that was very tough for me. I was away from my fiance 3, 4 months and, super cold. I didn't have the same entertainment that I used to have in Florida. I didn't have the people that was my supportive staff, let's put it this way. I had my pickup, I had my friends, I have like some mentors and all that, and I didn't have anybody in Knoxville, but it was a very important chapter of my life. I had learned so many things. I had like right now we created the second team, and I think 13 guys moved to college. So that for me was very special because I think that's
Wow.
what I do. What I do is like that fulfills my life to help others, and I don't say that just to look cliche. If you go and see what I do is always about helping others. I think that's success. I feel like if you help people around you, they will make you grow naturally.
Yeah.
uh so after some time and some consideration, I was kind of feeling that was time for a new challenge. It was time for being uncomfortable again, for putting myself in a way that like, I actually coached college a long time ago, but let's say I don't master. It's a lot of new things for me.
Yeah.
It's the first time I'm an assistant coach. So uh, I wanted to have those experiences because I feel like the uncomfortable and seeing things from different perspectives, it's very important for you when you lead things, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And I'm learning a lot already. So I left Knoxville. I came to University at Albany in New York. I'm not very excited for the winter, but uh, let's be uncomfortable on that as well.
And just
Uh,
so I can give people some more context as well.
mhm.
So Guy used to live in Florida, in Orlando. That's pretty much the Brazilian weather. and then he moves to Tennessee, which is already pretty cold, and now
Mhm.
he is in New York. So
Almost Canada.
the ones that don't really know how it all is, it is brutal in the winter, is extremely cold. So not only he's looking for new challenges on the field, on his professional life, but also a factor that has to be taken in consideration is the climate. Sorry, I just
I
wanted to
No, no,
make sure
and
that
I think
people
it's very
understand
good.
that that is a such a big part that people might underestimate. Oh yeah, oh New York is so wonderful.
And I think that you're so right. Even for myself, when I moved back to Tennessee, uh, the weather actually affected me a lot because it was like 3, 4 months of very cold weather, no sun, no outside activities. Was very tough for me, and now I'm sure it's gonna be even tougher in the winter. But
Well, yeah, for
I
real.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's funny that my fiance said, "Oh, like now we are in New York. Let's expand Christmas and New Year in New York City." And I'm like, you know, it's, sounds good, but it's summer in Rio. So
Yeah,
is that conversation that we're gonna have it. But just to give a context on the picture. So it's like right now my fiance is still in Knoxville. We're gonna move in the end of the month. So I move here first to kind of, start getting to work and doing that. And right now I have literally my coffee maker, some stuff to cook, and my air mattress, and that's it. And to be honest, I enjoy it. A lot of times I'm working home and I'm sitting in the wall and with the computer between my legs. And one of these days, I'm struggling to connect the Wi-Fi, so I don't have Wi-Fi, and I was trying to watch Vasco, and was the service was not working inside the apartment,
yeah.
and I had to step outside in the patio to watch the game. It was like -3, and I'm
Cold.
like, and Vasco won at least, because the
Yeah,
sacrifice. But I in that picture again, I just want to kind of share more a little bit with people because I feel like my life is always about resilience. Is always kind of like the process is always about the struggles that we are able to overcome. That a lot of people, like I was in Brazil right now with some friends, and they are talking, "Oh, your life is so easy and stuff," and I'm like, no, So yeah, I think it's important to share with people those moments because again, everybody wants to look so good on social media, and I think my definition of social media is illusion. It's not what's the reality. And I think we should admire the journey. I think we should admire the vulnerability. I think we should admire because those things build your character. Those things prepare you to be in a position that you're going that way.
yeah,
And I truly believe on this. Like I'm becoming more and more like uh I'm very focused on my spirituality. I think that's extremely important, especially for people that work with sports. That you feel you need to believe in the process. Uh, and I heard one thing that for me is extremely special. That's the struggles, the pain, the moments that you're uncomfortable are shaping you to be the best version of yourself when you achieve the position that you're going to achieve, and whenever you get there, you're going to be different. You're going to be humble. You're going to know the struggles. You're going to know the adversities. You're going to help people to grow in a way that you had nobody to do that for you. So you're going to do for others what nobody else did for you. And that's why I feel like that's my life. I have been so many uncomfortable and painful experiences that helped me to learn. And whenever I got in a situation that I could help others, I helped them without to face the same challenges that I had to go through.
absolutely. And I just want to, for sure, we're going to dive into the spirituality because that is my absolute favorite topic. But before that, when you said that One Knox created the second team and a lot of guys moved on to college, and you said to me that is success. So, as a coach, a lot of people view success and the wins and losses, which obviously, yes, they are important, but that's one measurement of success that's more tangible. People can see. right? They can judge you. Oh, what's your record? Everybody says here in the US, oh, what's your record? How many you have more wins and losses? Are you at 500? So when we hear someone like yourself talking about that is success, that is changing lives. When the kids move on to college, and I don't know what their background was, I don't know their history, but what I know is someone that has the ability in the US to go to college and to have a higher education, most likely they have a higher chance of getting a high paying job, having paid vacations, and being a professional at whatever they choose to do. And that is very difficult to measure in the material world that we live in. But as someone that you are looking to evolve, to develop yourself, can you tell me when you have guys, 13 guys going to college and the feeling of that fulfillment, that to me is what coaching is really all about. Is coaching, is teaching, is inspiring, is leading, is being a role model, that because of the way your life experience took you to from the, and we'll get into it, but basically from Rio to Orlando, then the fact that you decided to go to One Knox, and in that moment you were chosen and I am a firm believer as well. I'm a firm believer in God. So you were chosen to be there in that specific moment so the guys could have the opportunity to go to college, and you just changed their lives. So when
Hey,
and that to me is the definition of success, is you are impacting people that because of you, because of what you did, because of you what you created, what you were the instrument to create, their lives will forever be changed.
I think that's powerful. And just to bring a little bit of context, that my first place in the United States was North Carolina, and then I went to Tennessee. I did my master's in Tennessee, and I went to Qatar to try to play professionally, and things didn't work. But then in Qatar was the moment that I was like, I want to be a soccer coach. And I came back to Tennessee. And one thing that's just crazy, Tal, is that five of the guys playing this team were the first kids that start coaching private sessions in Knoxville.
No way.
So that brings a little more context. That for me, I truly believe in God, and I truly believe that He uses us to help people to be miracles in people's lives.
Yeah,
Um, and I think that I accomplished my mission in Tennessee, and I was like, okay, now what's next? But you said as well about the results and winnings and all that. I'll be very honest to you. If you, I don't know my record, but my wife told me, wife, no, my fiance, let's put the right title. Not yet.
almost, almost.
Almost. Uh, she didn't get a promotion yet, so that's why. uh, she told me like, "Gee, for real, like we are together well, like 4 years," and she told me, "I think like I have seen you losing 5 games," and uh, and I stopped like to think. I'm like, how many? I lost. Of course, I lose, but I'm like, I won much more than I lost. And I'll tell you this because in the like, being very honest, at some moment in the beginning, I was very focused on winning until I realized that the only way to win it's how you created the whole process, is how you build the connection with the kids, is what you teach, what's actually relevant for the kids, and for them to have a self-belief in themselves, is for them to have ownership of their life. That's what
Absolutely.
makes the difference. And I'll be honest with you, like, even the team that I created in Knoxville, of course, like I want to thank the leadership from One Knoxville that they bought the idea, they approve and they help to create the project, but it was my idea to create the project because I understood this, like in Tennessee, especially in Knoxville, the level of soccer is very low. That's the reality. And these kids are getting frustrated because the highest level that they play is high school. And with all respect to high school, most of the high schools are not very super competitive. And that's the reality. If you check the stats of how many high school players are going to Division One, is minimum.
Yeah.
Uh, so I'm like, these guys need to be exposed to play against bigger men, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what's gonna prepare them. That's the process for them. That's for me, developing. You expose the players to a situation where they can make mistakes and they will change after the experience. They will learn from it, you know, and they will have another opportunity to apply what they have learned. For me, that's development. And it's funny that we lost the first game 3-0, and we actually compete against everybody. And a lot of people ask me, Gia, you have like your record. It's amazing as a coach. Like,
Yeah.
why are you gonna coach these kids that never play high level here? Like, are you crazy? And I'll be honest, like I basically, let's say this, I coach those guys basically for free because
Yeah.
I wanna help them.
Mm-hmm.
You
You
know,
want to serve.
I wanna serve, and I believe in this. Like things will come your way, you know. And look where I am right now. Maybe what I did in the past helped me to get where I am, you know. So what I want to say to you, Tal, is about the winning and stuff. This team, we had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of like tough moments sometimes, a lot of individual conversations, a lot of like, you know, uh, ways to make them better on and off the field. But I just want to tell you, like, we finished second in the regular season, just
Oh,
playing against
wow.
25, 26, 27 years old professional players. And we lost in the final. We qualified to the final. We play against a team, Tennessee Temple, that have so many good players. I don't know why I can be wrong, but I think they pay some players to play. For example, the final we lost 2-0. The team that we play against, Southern Indiana, they paid two guys from USL Championship to play the final,
Oh, wow.
and we lost 2-0. And one thing that for me also is fulfill myself was like after we lost the final, I forced all the guys to stay there on the field and clap to Southern Indiana getting the trophy and all that. And I think that also is part of my development.
Mm.
And Anna in USL2, I was like so focused about the process, but you know, in the competition, I want to win. If I had to lose, you know, and I
Yeah.
think like what I do has to be bigger than wins and losses, you know. uh, like give the right example has to be more important than the wins and losses. And so the kids stay there, and the head coach from Southern Indiana emailed me later and said like, your leadership is amazing for these kids, like we need more people like this, you know. And for me that was beautiful. And just to give a little context as well, like the the semifinal, we start losing 2-0, and we
Okay.
scored in the last minute. Like literally the first chance we had, we scored 2-1, and we go to the locker room, and I'm like, well, what do we do? Because the other team was more physical, more technical, more everything was better, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like,
What
and
miracle can I come up with?
yes, and actually, we we train a lot of set pieces because you know, like being realistic, I'm very humble. I like to see the reality. I was like, it's gonna be very hard to play. You know, it's gonna be very hard to do it. So let's train. And one thing as well I like to share because I think you like those stories. Um, 2023 USL2 playoffs. We with Nona, we go to the game, and I told the guys we're not gonna train penalties because we are good enough to win the game in
Regular game.
the regular game. And we go to penalties, and they actually miss the penalty, and then we miss as well, and we ended up losing. And that was a big lesson for me. That was painful because
Yeah.
I did, of course, I my comment was not to underestimate the other team, was to reinforce my team, was never, you
Give
know,
your
to be
team the confidence.
disrespectful.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But with these kids, whenever we went to the semifinal, I was like, you know, in my brain was like, I have the chance now to use that painful moment uh to prepare better, let's put it this way, to accomplish what we wanna. So we trained the whole week. I put all the kids in the halfway line, and you have to walk with the ball, turn off all the thoughts, turn off all the comments. It's you,
All
the
the
ball, and the goal.
distractions. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And you're gonna take 5 days here. You're gonna train 5 days exactly the way you're gonna take the penalties. And we go there, everybody scores, we win, and you know we're playing against 27, 28 years old. That for me is. amazing because also that's my development. As I said, for me, development is you make the mistakes and then you have opportunity to do different in the next opportunity. But you need to be humble to do that, you know. So that I would like to share that because I think that's important to
Oh, I
share for the
love it.
coaches, you
I
know.
love it. That to me is the definition of learning is if the same situation presents itself again, are you going to do the same thing? If you do, you haven't learned. You're not ready yet. So going back a little bit to the spiritual side is where I feel like every situation that we face, especially the uncomfortable ones, they're trying to teach you a lesson. And a lot of times we're not ready for that lesson yet. So we avoid the situation. And the reason why the picture caught my attention so much was I remember when you left Nona and you went to One Knox, and then when I saw the picture, and like I didn't have like a real notion of how long you had stayed in Tennessee, but when I saw that you were already moving on, I was like, that guy is on the search. He's on the search to grow. He knows that you only grow through being uncomfortable, going to new places and different situations. And my story when I came to the US, when I moved to California, I got on the plane. I didn't even know who was going to pick me up from the airport or nothing like that. So I love those stories where people are looking to grow. So some people will call us crazy because why are you searching for uncomfortable situations? Well, I'm searching because that's where I grow. That's where I can really develop. I can put my mind, my brain to work and figure it out. When you had the team, well, the team is better than you. Okay, so what are you gonna do? How do I figure that stuff out? To me, so that's part of coaching, learning, leading, getting the inspiration for from whatever you get. That's very, very important. So again, I admire what you are doing, not only obviously on the soccer pitch, but also in life, where we, we know because we come from a different country, but everybody doesn't fully understand how hard it actually is to move again to another state. Let's just talk about the logistics. You move there by yourself, your fiance isn't there, the stuff isn't there. You are willing to stay in an apartment with basically just a mattress and a coffee maker and probably some pots and pans to cook. Why? Do you have to do that? No, you don't have to, but you want to because you want to grow. So a leader like yourself, when you go and when you're coaching, and again, you go from a technical director position from being the top guy in the club to being humble enough to become an assistant coach, that to me is admirable because it's someone that you're looking how can I grow? And we grow by putting ourselves in positions that in the beginning they will be uncomfortable. So it's not a matter of avoiding, oh, I need to feel good about everything. No, 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 no. There are going to be moments that are going to be tough. You are going to be there, you're going to be alone, you're not going to have as many friends. There's going to be weekends. Weekends for me are really tough because that's when you don't really have a whole lot going on, and you see your friends and your family and everybody's together and you're the one who's away. So can you walk us through what does it mean? Why are you on that search? What are you looking for? Are you looking for just become the best possible version of yourself as a person, as a coach, as a future husband that you're going to be? What are you in the search of? Or are you in the search just to become the best possible version of yourself? And that will go into naturally becoming a better coach, a better everything. What are you looking for?
I think that's a very great question, and I think you need kind of some time to process. You kind of give the perfect answer. Uh, I'll be honest. I feel like I truly believe on this. I think parents are the coaches, the most important coaches that we have because they coach us for life,
Yep.
and I think I'm a little combination of what my mom and my father they are, and they instill a lot of things in in the way I see life, in the way I see opportunities, plus the experiences I had it when I was very young. And I'll be very honest with you, Thales, you know, I, I love some Brazilian trap. And there is a guy that says, in order for you to know where you want to go, you need to know where you came from,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest, there was a moment when I was trying to become a pro player in Brazil. I was like doing, I don't know how to say that in English, but supletivo. That's
Uh-huh.
kind of you hurry up a little bit your studies instead of doing the whole year, you do 6 months,
Yep.
and the classes were at night. And like, look where I am right now. I'm a public employee of New York State. It's crazy and everything that
With a
happening and
master's degree.
with a master's degree and I we had even the secretary of football going to Knoxville to build partnerships and help being able to help those opportunities to help the people that need it in my country. I feel like there are so many opportunities out there. I need to make the most out of it. It's if I'm having those opportunities, I cannot waste it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a disrespect with God, it's a disrespect with people that would love to be where I am. And I agree with you. I feel like, I think a lot of people say, oh, I would like to like be the best version of myself. But I think it's not just that. Of course, that's part of it, but it's just like having maybe a understanding of how many people love to be where I am today, and having the courage that I have to chase my dreams to start again. And I have no guarantees that I will be successful here or not. And if we don't do maybe a good season, I might not have a job. And but what guarantees we have in life, and I think the guarantees that we have is the people, the person that we are, the skills that we have, the reputation that we have. And to be honest, for me, is
Yeah.
it's this. I feel like, I need to be ready to seize the opportunities that life gives me. And
Mm-hmm.
if I take opportunity, I can touch more lives. And that for me is my success.
Absolutely. I love that. Absolutely love that because opportunities come and go, and it's up to you to take it or not take it. And if you feel like you have to wait for the perfect moment, for the perfect everything, that's not going to come. There's one of my favorite podcasters and authors, and his name is Rich Roll, and he says something that I take every day of my life is mood follows action. And the way I've implemented in my own life is first you have to start doing things and then you put it in motion, see what happens. And that's also part of the reason why I started this podcast is I don't know. I have no idea where this is going, but you got to start. If you just wait for it to be perfect and know everything, I'm 45 years old. I don't even know how to post everything and figure it all out, but I'm doing it. Is it perfect? No, of course not. But it's a matter of we're coaches. So when we tell our kids, hey, you got to learn, you got to improve, you got to develop. So I feel like we have to do it ourselves. Because what kind of leader am I really if I tell other people to do it and I am not doing myself? So my whole premise of the 1% club is you don't have to do everything perfect, but you have to do something. And you have to do something on a daily basis, and especially when you don't feel like it. Because when you don't feel like it, what is happening is you are putting the accountability on something else. you are putting the blame of not doing, oh, but it's the weather, is I don't have the perfect conditions, it's the opponent, it's the ref, it's the ball, it's whatever. No, my actions, they depend on me. So what I am responsible for doing, I am going to do it. So my battle is always within. I am looking to be the best possible version of myself that I can be on a daily basis. So not only when I feel like it, but especially when I don't feel like it. So how has the first few weeks been for you there with the weather, with the apartment that doesn't have a whole lot? Are you guys already in season, off season? Walk us through what the daily life of Guy is right now. What is happening? How is that all unfolding for you?
Now, first, I just want to say that I admire you a lot as well because I agree with you 100%. I think life is putting emotion. You start it and then you have to figure it out. And I am very like this, and I'm trying actually to go back a little bit to be in shape a little bit to be able to train with my players. I agree with you 100%. Like if you don't lead by example, it's like you don't have the credibility to demand. So I wanna be in shape, especially that I'm 31 still. So like I wanna challenge my players. I wanna kind of, do the physical training with them. And I was very good doing those things because I'm very like if I put something in my mind, I will get it. Might
Make
take
it
a
happen.
while. I will make it happen. And like just so I drove 13 hours from Knoxville to here. Um and my fiance said, "Oh, you better stop, sleep and something." And I'm like, I left at 8 a.m. I literally stopped two times to put gas. I stopped at Chipotle. That's my main addiction in the United States. It's every day. I ate 20 minutes there and like literally I delayed 30 minutes my trip,
Wow.
I didn't stop there
They
and
do it. Yeah.
I stray, no energy drink, coffee, but that's it. And I think that's just a little demonstration of like, I will make it. I came and was funny to be honest with you. Like I met one of the players I coach on that he's here right now. So we had dinner together at like 9 p.m.
The
And
same
then
day that you got there?
the same day, yes, right
Oh,
away.
wow. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, and was funny because it's been a lot of expenses right now, especially like changing the job and taxes, all that. Like I just changed my car and a lot of things. So I checked like a very good hotel and was a little kind of more expensive than I was willing to pay. I'm like, you know what? Like I'm restarting my life. Let's go to the basics, and I got like a very cheap hotel. I go there, like a lot of weird people. You go in the room, it's kind of like a little, but to be honest, that is like my mindset was laughing,
Yeah,
not taking a bad way. But just like, life is about restarting and putting yourself in. And I think like if your mind is okay with it, you're fine.
yeah,
So
yeah.
following day, I stayed 3, 4 days with the head coach here in his house. So like it was nice to kind of build some chemistry. He's addicted for soccer, like watch soccer all the time. So we talk a little bit. I could have like a feeling of it. But to be honest, is yesterday a good friend of mine asked me like, "Oh, how is Albany? Like, what have you done and stuff?" And like literally, my life is house, offs, house, and Chipotle in the way. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And yeah, we training. So we training three days a week. We recruiting. I'm helping with that. I'm learning the processes. Like we're gonna play this weekend. So like kind of how to prepare for the logistics and all that. So for me, to be very honest, I didn't have to do that. In any other job I had it. So like for me, it's been good to kind of see what other people were doing for me, and
Appreciate
I
it
think I
even more.
value, but I appreciate of course more, and I think that's what I wanna because I feel that I'm gonna be in a high position at some point, and I truly wanna make the best environment, and there is something. There's a book that I read it. Leaders eat last and that
Simon
book
Sinek. Yeah, I love it. I
and
read it.
that book says that he's amazing, but that book says that 80% of the Americans hate their job, and a lot of times it's because of their leader.
Yep,
And
yep.
like I want people to feel like, wow, what a blessing to be living here. What to be working here. Like I feel empowered. I'm developing. I think that's why I truly want to do it, because if 80% of people hate their job, like something's wrong. How can you have a good life if you hate a place that you spend the most hours of your life?
Absolutely. And it's so true because if you live in that kind of mindset that you hate what you do, you're not going to do as well as you can.
Yeah.
You're not going to be as creative, as open-minded. And when I was coaching on the field, I used to tell all my players all the time, this is my Real Madrid because this is where I am. I don't wish I was somewhere else. I live in the present. I live in the present moment. So for me, this is the best place there is. And I want you to give your all every day. What a blessing. We woke up. We are conscious. We're aware. People went to bed last night and never woke up. There's a video that I share all the time. There's a guy who became a bodybuilder that has no legs, one arm, and in his arm, he only has one finger. And that guy is so full of life. So it's a matter of perspective. So do what you love, like really go after. Life doesn't always have to be a struggle. So that's what part of what I love talking about too is do something. It doesn't matter where you're starting off. So it's not a matter of, oh, I wish I had a different life. No, make the best out of what your life currently is. Don't try to change. You're not able to change. You were giving an opportunity to be here. Make the best out of what you have. Oh, I wish I was taller. Well, so do I. I wish I was hands. So do I. I wish I had more money. So do I. Can I change any of that in an instant? No. But if I can work towards, and what we talked about, it's the process. And you become addicted to the process, to developing, to improving, to getting better. So put things in motion. So whoever is listening, watching us, it doesn't matter where you're starting. You can always improve. You can always get better. And even if it's 1%, so the 1% that I always talk about, it gets to a point that it isn't even 1%. It's a lot less than 1%. So even if it's 0.001%, but you are putting things in motion, you're moving, you are developing. Sorry, I got on a tangent here because I get
No,
passionate about talking.
you're right. You're so right, and I love talking to you because I feel like we have the kind of same vision and perspective of things. But one thing that is scary that people don't see it's that you are responsible for everything that happens in your life, and I think that's
100%.
scary. Like one thing that for me it's scary a little bit because I would say I'm kind of outgoing. Like I'm very like I'll do things and I'll get things done, and of course in an ethical way. But it's like I feel or you intimidated the world or the world will intimidate you you know
Absolutely.
and I feel like we all have freedom. Like you have freedom to do whatever you want. You're not happy in somewhere, you can move. You're not happy in a job, you can leave. You're not happy in a relationship, is being toxic, abusive, whatever, you can leave. You have toxic friends around you that don't believe you and undervalue you. You can tell them to, with all respect, to fuck off and get people that will help you to become better. So I think you in charge of your life. Like I read a book that says that billionaires live their life like they were being recorded in a movie.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
everything they do, they want people to see it. So I feel like that's a good mindset to have. Like live your life. Imagine that there is a camera there recording you. How do you want to be known for? You know.
And that
So I
that's
think.
so I go back again to what I was saying earlier. And those are the defining moments is when you don't want to do something. if you are able to overcome your own fears, your insecurities, that battle that goes on in your own mind, your negative self-talk that tells you, no, not today, there's no point, I don't believe I should, or whatever it may be. If you're able to overcome that, you are becoming self-accountable. So you know that you have to have your own values. You have to be honest with yourself. So guess what? If you say you're going to do something, do it. I don't care how small it is. So what I teach others is, to me, it counts even if it's one breath. But if it's an awareness breath, it's gratitude is when the going gets really tough and you don't want to do it, the way you recenter is take one deep breath and start again. It like again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be done. Guy, let's talk a little bit more now where you said that your parents shaped you, the way you are, your mindset and everything. So how did you grow up? How did you get into soccer? What kind of schools did you go to? What life lessons did your parents teach you that you carry to this day? Walk us through how was your childhood growing up in Rio? Do you have any siblings? Take us through
Yeah.
your childhood, please.
So you know, I had I have two brothers and one sister. Uh, and my mom was working 24/7. She was a college teacher and a psychologist, and my father is a lawyer. They were divorced. So my two brothers used to live with my dad, and and I had my grandmother. That for me, she's my hero. She was like she did everything for me, cooking, all that.
The Rock.
My my old girlfriend to call her house to talk to me old times that we didn't have phone, right? And she was, no, Guy's not available. I'm like, why not? So that was funny. But um, yeah, I did like private schools most of the time. Um, and I would see my mom working every day, like from 5:30, and she'll come home 11 p.m. and she'll take shower and sleep a lot of times in the living room and no time to be with us. And she'll try the best to make things happen. And she always kind of put me exposed to books to try new things like connect with the nature, like spirituality, all these things. So I think like she was very valuable for me a lot of things because she would put me in different activities like theater. uh I had to write, I forgot how to say poesia, poetry.
Poetry, poetry, yeah.
Yeah, I wrote poetry and I had actually two books. It's funny that I have two books of those things. So I think my mom always tried to make me think outside the box, and I think that that was always important. And I think that helps me a lot because, as you said, there's always a solution, but a lot of times people don't want to think outside the box. So I think
Yeah.
my whole life was that. Always have to wash dishes, always have to kind of wash my clothes since like 9, 10 years old. Uh, Always support me to play sports, never a pressure to win, to have the minutes to like in her mind I was the best player in the world, but never a pressure.
Yeah.
On the other side, my father was like very, very poor. He used to work in construction, all that. And he always told me like, I will be in the lunch break, I'll be reading, preparing to be a lawyer, and people would tell me, "You were born poor. You're gonna die poor. Why are you trying to change? There's
Wow.
nothing you can do to change."
Yeah,
And
yeah,
like now, my father, he built a very successful career. Like now, he's kind of almost retiring, but he built a good life out of it. So he changed the perspective. He gave us better opportunities in life, but always very humble, always very ethical, always like getting mad at us if we uh, made mistakes, and always accountability. And my father taught me a lesson that actually is important, I think, nowadays for everybody. It's like he said, do not trust 100%, not even with myself or with your mom.
mm-hmm.
It might be tough to people, but I think they always give me power of like seeing that the world is not as perfect as we think it is, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And there are so many problems in family relationships. So I think like that helped me. But one thing that for me was very important was like my parents always gave me freedom. Like, so I did a lot of mistakes as well, but I had the opportunity to make those mistakes. And if I was caught or if anything happened like negative, I was accountable for it, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of gave me that risk. Should I do this? Should I not do it? You know,
Make a
of course.
decision. Yeah.
So I think that was very powerful for me. Uh, and whenever I had the opportunity to come to the United States, my father was not very kind of supportive in the first moment. And he told me, if you want to go, you go, but it's on you.
How did that happen? How did the opportunity come about?
So I was trying to play. I was in Tigres Brazil, a club in Rio.
I've been there. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they have a very good structure. And just to train, I had to get like a train, a bus, and a van to get to the facility. So
Because
it was like
it's
two
way
hours.
out there. Yeah.
Yes, they had their own bus to pick us up, like in downtown in Xerém. They called Tigrinho, Little Tiger. That was funny. Uh, so like I had an agent that now he's very big in Brazil. I'm happy for him. He deserves. And like he was opening opportunities and he was like, yeah, stick to it. Like we're gonna find something. But like my parents were putting pressure, like, all your friends are working, all your friends are in college and you're not doing any of it. Like it's time to kind of have a direction. So I started doing law in Brazil. I did law in Brazil for 1 year. My father is a lawyer, so kind of was um, a direction to go, but my father never let me work with him. That was funny. So I think that's good as well. He said, like, you want this? Okay, you figure it out. I'm not gonna help you. Uh, so yeah, so one day actually I was skipping class, not the best example, but uh, my friend was invited to do like a tryout because it was 2014 World Cup, a lot of college coaches in Brazil. So we would play a friendly match and the coaches will watch. I went there. I never like I didn't speak English at the time and nothing, and I didn't know a lot about it. And I played the game, and the guy offered me 75% scholarship, something like this. And the dollar at the moment was 1.8 something, so it was like cheaper than actually studying in Brazil.
Oh,
So
wow.
like I know nothing. I knew nothing about that, and I came. It was funny because I didn't get a grade on TOEFL, and I had to do an interview, and I had to prepare for the interview to be able to pass. So it was tough. And when I
So
came
is
here, like
this in North Carolina that you
North Carolina,
okay.
yeah, and yeah, so when I came and I realized I had to study as well, it was not just soccer, was
Reality?
tough.
Yeah.
Was very tough, and I remember I had no clue how to study because there was like so many pages to read, so many things, and I was like, how am I gonna do that? So I think that helped me a lot. Like I think my life start making sense and I start becoming actually who I am was in that moment because I was away from my family, away from my friends. I was 18, 19 in Brazil. A lot of like that moment was like I would say my prime, let's put it this way. A lot of parties, a lot of girls, a lot of like things going on.
Yeah.
I had like a brand new car, and actually I sold my car to help my parents to pay my education. Uh, and I had no friends, and was academically was hard. I could not play the first year because of eligibility and all these
Oh,
things.
wow. Okay.
So, and the team went to the nationals and they won the conference and all that, and I was just watching. So it was very hard for me. Uh, but I think there I start kind of learning. So I would say like the biggest lesson for me in the undergraduate was we grow from pain, from we grow from pain. And
Absolutely.
whenever I went to Brazil in December the first time, I took all my stuff and I told my mom I'm not coming back.
I'm done.
I'm done. No way. And she told me you never finish things that you started. You're gonna go back and you're gonna get your degree, and that's not even negotiable. So whenever I got my degree, it was funny that I couldn't find my mom in the graduation, so I was like desperate,
So
like
did you start as a freshman? So did you do
freshman,
four
4 years,
four
four
years?
years, four
Okay.
years.
Okay.
And in the graduation, like my friend was responsible to pick my mom up in the hotel to go to the graduation. But when I left the room early, he was sleeping. So I was like, maybe he he slept in and he didn't wake up. And my mom is not here. So when I got my degree, because I was thinking of that conversation that she said you need to
Absolutely.
finish.
That she
And
set you
whenever
straight. Yes.
and when I was walking off the stage, my mom was there with the recording, crying, and I remember the hug until now was like special. I was like relieved
What a
because I feel like
moment. Yes.
I think that's a biblical lesson, right? We need to honor our parents. I would say my mom is one of the most complicated individuals in the world, but she did so much for me. Like, and who I am today, there's a lot that came from her, and the opportunities that she gave me, and the lessons and the leadership that she had on me. So, like, I'm so grateful for her.
Absolutely. What a special moment.
Yeah,
Hard
was
work
good.
paid off. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
you graduate, and what's next? What's your next step?
So next pressure was my mom. Now you got the graduation in the United States. You need to make your living. You this, and I'm like, well, what I'm doing? Like, what I'm gonna do?
Was she telling you to
Uh,
go back home?
no, she never wanted me to go back home. I'll be honest. I feel like Brazil is my weak side. It's friends and the old life and stuff is nowadays I have more maturity to deal with it, but like I was very young, so she didn't want me to do that. Uh,
Fall into the trap.
yes,
Yeah.
and it's a natural trap, Uh,
Tell me about it. I know.
that's where we came from. So it's like you're gonna deny where you come from. It's like it's
Can.
hard. It's part of us, no? Um, so she put some pressure on me, like, what are you gonna do? What's gonna be your job and all that. And I didn't know. So I had 1 year left because I didn't play the first year. So
Oh, so
I
you have one more year of eligibility?
and I emailed a lot of coaches, and out of nowhere, like I saw a school in Tennessee. The head coach was Brazilian, the assistant coach was Brazilian. 15 out of 23 players were Brazilians. I'm like, that's where I want to go.
I'm gonna feel
So
like home. Yeah.
I would feel like home. So I went there, amazing group, amazing everything. I feel like the coach didn't like me as much as things could have happened, but
Yeah.
was amazing because I learned from there as well. And one thing that happened there that was also a learning curve for me was I did a very strong game. Um, and kind of like I played 15 minutes only in the first half. And in college you can sub and stuff.
In and out.
And
Yeah.
I created like two, three chances for the team to score. And the last, like, it was 1-1 the game and it was like 10, 9, 8, 7. And I got the ball, I cut the guy, I crossed the ball perfectly to the striker heads the ball bounces the posts and don't go in. And we were playing really bad. And when I came in, like the team started playing better. And I never play any other minute in the second half. I came off and I
Oh
didn't
wow.
get in
Yeah.
again. And I'm like, like, what I
What's
need to
going on?
do?
Why?
Yeah. And I'll be honest, if the player is better than me, I stay quiet. I will try my
Wrong.
best to play, but
Yeah.
it happens. But I was like, something beyond the field's happening, because there's no way. So the following day, the guys that didn't play much he had to train, and I didn't show up in training. And he called me and he said, like, you have 1 minute to be downstairs. And I went downstairs and I went in his car and then, like, trying to explain, and he started screaming at me. And he said, like, you got a scholarship to be available to play. You didn't get the scholarship to play. You play if I want you.
Mm-hmm. It's my choice as a coach.
And I said, no, I wash the uniform, I paint the field, you keep my scholarship, I just don't want to play anymore and stuff, and you're gonna play. And yeah, so I play a little bit there. Actually, the left back got injured, and I got injured as well, and then I had to play injured because we had nobody. But was amazing for me the experience as well. And from there I went to Qatar, and from Qatar I came back to Tennessee, and that's how kind of my life is going back.
how was the transition to become a coach? What was the moment that you said, okay, this is what I want to still be involved, but now on a different side of the game.
So I went to Qatar to play professional in the club called Al Duhail. Felipe Coutinho played there, Dudu from Palmeiras, Mandzukic, like it's the club from the Emir from Qatar. So I stayed there for 1 month and a half in tryouts. I'll be honest with you, like if I was younger, I think I had the level to be there, but I was kind of my limit in the U23.
Yeah.
So and the head coach from the first team was Rui Faria. He was the assistant coach of Jose Mourinho from Porto all the way to Man United. And people say that the downfall of Mourinho came after this guy stepped away a little bit. It was his balance a little bit. And so my last day in Qatar, I was walking and I met this guy. And I was walking with the conditioning coach from this club, Fabinho. He's Brazilian. And Fabinho always told me, like, Gui, things if things don't work here, you should work with soccer. Like you talk well, you connect with people, like all the players like you, all the staff like you, like that's what you need to do. And I was just thinking, like in Brazil, if you're not a former professional player, it was very hard for you to work.
To
And
become a
still
coach,
now,
it doesn't happen. Yeah.
and still nowadays, like it's more open, but it's very hard.
Yeah.
Uh, so my last night, I was having dinner with this guy Fabinho, and we walking out of the restaurant. We met the head coach, Rui Faria, and he said, "Oh, let's go have a coffee because we're in Qatar, we cannot have drinks. The alcohol here, is super expensive. So we went have coffee like 11:30 p.m. And he told me how he became a coach, and he was just kind of like a recreational coach, and he was doing his uh, university, and Mourinho was starting, and he asked Mourinho to have an interview for his college work,
Oh, wow.
and he asked a lot of good questions, and Mourinho said, like, I like your questions, like I like the way you think. 3 months later, Mourinho called him to work with him. So when he moved to Porto, he brought Rui Faria, and Rui Faria just started out of there. And I'm like, if that guy out of nowhere with no connections could do it, I think I can as well. So that's how I kind of started.
And how did you come back to Tennessee from Qatar to Tennessee? What was the transition?
because because I had 1 semester left in my master's.
Oh, okay, okay,
So
okay.
so it was funny, and that story I think is funny as well. You like those things. I had literally $300 in my bank account, and I had to go back to Tennessee. The head coach got fired. So my agreement with him was over, right? The new coach comes in. Oh, he tells me you have no housing spot here anymore. I'm like, $300. I have to go back.
What am I
Uh,
gonna do?
what I'm gonna do. So what happened was, and one thing I want to highlight as well, whenever this head coach got fired, I was the first one to call him and thank him for the opportunity to be in the Masters, even though we had like some situations because he opened the door. I got my Masters thanks to him.
You were
So
grateful
I,
still. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's important to honor the people that help you always. Uh, so I went back to Tennessee, and a good friend of mine moved to Knoxville to work there. And actually, right now, he's the vice president of Bank of America in Florida, like, in a very high position
Big time.
and big time. And I was his roommate. And so he had his bed, and I would be sleeping in air mattress on his side in the bed.
Yeah.
I work with construction there, Thalys. I work in construction for a period of time. I dislocated my shoulder carrying the woods and all that. And I remember that I had to wake up like 4 a.m., go to work at 4:30, and I was like, I don't want this life for me. Like that's brutal.
Yeah.
But that helped me a lot to value the opportunity. So then, like I saw that construction would not work for me. It was very tough. I started kind of doing private sessions, and I started with one, two, three players, and I had no clue what to do, and kind of start building some knowledge, and that's
Yeah,
how
yeah.
everything started.
Wow, that's what a story. What a
Yeah,
turn of events.
yeah.
So what was your how did you get to how did you move from now from Tennessee to Nona? What was the connection
So
there? And
before,
what were you in charge of at Nona?
so was not a straight movement. So from Tennessee, I went back to my university in North Carolina. I was assistant coach there.
Oh, there was
Uh,
another step. Okay.
Another step and another struggle. Let's put it this way. Um, so I went there, and I was supposed to have housing, and I was supposed to have some situations. And whenever I go to my room, there's no a bed in my room. I'm like, I was living in the dorm. I'm like, and I talked to the people in the university. They say, "Oh, there is a like a brand new bed in the trash. If you want, you can get it." I'm like,
What?
I'm like,
Yeah.
no. So I actually did leave. I went to the business school in June. I stayed there until November. Um, yeah, so I was living in this dorm, only cold water. Sometimes, I saw some rats, like stuff like that, and
Yeah.
I start questioning myself. I'm like,
What am
I'm
I doing
making,
here?
yeah, what I'm doing here, like I'm making very little money, and but to be honest, Thales, I gave my life to the work because the kids. So the same team, they were bottom of the table the previous season. We came, we finished third in the conference. We went all the way to the semifinal. We lost in the semifinal. My last game, because I left in
Wow.
the middle of the season, because like things were not working for me anymore. Like, for example, they delay my first paycheck. And
Yeah.
then my salary was X and they gave me half of X. I'm like, so there's just
Right. Yeah.
so many things going on. I was like, I cannot stay here anymore. So in the last game I was there, we won 10-0. All the players
Wow.
like that's for you and all that, and that for me was very special. So it was funny because I was like like I was thinking about quitting. What should I do in life? Should I go to Brazil? Maybe soccer is not for me, all that. And my
Crossroads.
assistant
Yeah.
coach
Yeah.
and my assistant coach told me, Gui, you have like a very good friend in Orlando, Florida. You have a bunch of Brazilians there. Like you can live with her. Like why you don't go there? I'm like, that's a point. So I messaged her like, yo, and in this moment, I was 7 years in United States, 6 years in United States, and I never, ever leave outside a dorm. I always live in dorms this whole
Yeah.
time.
The
And I told
college
her like,
life. Yeah.
and I messaged her, I'm like, yo, can I be a roommate? I help you with the things and stuff. And I went there and I didn't cry. I had problems with crying, but uh, whenever I go to the room that was supposed to be mine, like all decorated, like brand new blanket, frame,
Super
TV,
nice.
furniture, welcome, feel home, and this girl for me is a miracle in my life. Lais, like she was in Brazil right now in my house. She just had a baby and she went to my house too, so I could meet her baby.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so she actually messaged on and said, "Look, I have a friend of mine. He's a very good coach." And like I was nobody there, I was, and I went to Nona in the following day. Um, to get to and it was funny because I was going to Nona in the following day and I just sold my car in North Carolina before moving to Florida. So in the same like literally the following day I got in Florida, I bought a car because I knew if I got a job, I'll have to start working. I need a car.
Gotta
So
drive places. Yeah.
and I had no credit card, nothing. Like I had, let's say, I had little money there. I had to give all the money to buy the car. Um, and yeah, I started working on it. I did the training as a kind of a job interview. They like it. I started working with the recreation and on it. So I didn't start at like high. And it's funny that all the kids, all the parents from the recreational complained that I was not a good coach, that they should fire me, and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Um, so after that, that's funny that Fabio has two kids. One kid is 2011, but he was playing with 2010, and the other kid was 2008. Fabio is the owner. No, no.
Okay.
And like his 2010 team was not doing really well and was supposed to be a very good team. And they were losing 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, and all that. And he said, oh, before that, sorry, I missed a part. So my first competitive team was a 2007 second team. The first game I coached, we lost 5-0.
Okay.
And literally I had one training session with them, so it was tough. And
Yeah, yeah.
then 2 months later, 3 months later, on my birthday, actually, I don't remember how old I was turning, but in my birthday, we play against Rush and Felipe Gabriel, the guy, the midfielder that played for Flamengo, Botafogo, all that. He was the coach for that team, and he said to
Oh,
anybody I know, "Nah, yo, this coach is really good. This coach is really good."
talking about
And
you.
yes, and because it was 1-0, they won the penalty, like in one penalty in the end of the game. So from 5-0 to 1-0 was, good. Uh, and I became the coach of the 2010 team. That was one of the Fabrice teams. And it was funny because was the general manager of United States Tennis Association was in the team. Uh,
Oh,
the
yeah.
son of the fourth best golf player in the world was in my team. So it was like big time people,
Big time people. Yeah.
and in the first tournament, we lost 2 games, 1-0, and we draw one game. And one of the parents already put the fingers in my face and said like, "Yo, you wrong, you piece of shit, and you this." And I'm
You're
like,
not a good coach.
"Oh yeah." And like it was funny because we lost that tournament and we lost two more tournaments. Um, and I told the guys, I remember that I said, "Guys, because everybody was crying, and I was like, guys, we're gonna be successful. We're gonna start winning everything, but it's part of the process. It's what we do
Trust the
every day.
process.
It's just as you said, and then we start winning everything. Boom, we start winning everything. And some of these guys going out to MLS clubs, most of them are already playing MLS next. Luan, that's one of the Fabrisan, it's US national team ID camps and all that. I have
Wow.
not much to do with him because goalkeeper was not more, but was a very good relationship. And then I coached the 2008 team as well. So they won the state and we lost some players, and I became the coach there, and we won the state again. You know, so that kind of you know that kind of gave me the credibility to be the head coach of Nona FC for the first year. Um, Gabriel Zapponi was supposed to be the head coach, but he got an offer to go to India 11 USL Championship, so he left.
Yeah.
And he kind of did some lobby for me to become the head coach, and yeah, I became the head coach, and it was the best experience I had in my life.
So the first season, you guys already won the league,
Yeah, that conference.
the conference. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So were
we
you
won
in charge of putting the team together, or did you do
everything.
the Oh, wow. So walk me through it. You get there and new experience. What do you do? How do you do it?
I feel like, to be honest, I think like as you say, we as professionals from soccer, we always need to prepare ourselves, right? We study, read things, and all that. But a lot of times we don't have the right platform to apply what we believe,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's a very crucial part. So whenever I remember, Fabio told me I was going to play a pickup, and Fabio said, "Oh, let me give you a ride," and I'm like, "Okay." And he gave me the ride. And like I remember, I used to live like 2 minutes from the highway, and he was like, "Yo, how are you? How this? How that?" Like kind of buying time. As soon as we were going the highway, he looked at me and he said, "Are you ready to be the non-FC head coach?" And I was like,
Oh my gosh.
"Oh!" I was very happy because it was the opportunity, was the platform for me to apply my ideas, to try
You
things,
had been waiting for.
and was a dream coming true, to be honest, because and that's why I say I agree with you 100%. That was my Real Madrid 100%. Like all the teams I coach is my Real Madrid, but like now I had the facility. I can choose any player I wanna. I can create the culture. I can create the staff. I can like it was amazing. Like I of course I was not responsible for 100%, but I was responsible
Yeah,
for a lot of
yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of building the team, the culture, the things that we did. So it was amazing. I had so many good people with me working with me, so for me it was great. But that's why I believe it. Like for me, everything's aligned. For me, everything's aligned. Like I wanted the right people, the right profile, the right coaching staff that represents what I believe, that understands what I do, that can
Together
help me
with
with
value.
my weaknesses. Yes. So I think like we created I'll be honest with you, I have never seen an environment like the first year of non-FC was just amazing. You know, the players want to be there. We had fun after the training. We'll be there talking for hours, and happy singing, and that's what go back to what I told you. Like I wanted people to enjoy that what they are doing. I wanted them to enjoy it, and that was amazing. So for me, it was a great experience of recruiting the players, to talk to the players, to have a strategy. And one thing I remember, we had a planning meeting with my staff, and we had 14 games. And I was like, kind of making that prediction: we're gonna win or we're gonna lose the games.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And for me, I did it that we would win 12 games, we would lose. Actually, I did it that we would win 11 games, we would lose one, and we draw two.
Okay.
And the first season, we won 12 games, we lost one, and we draw one game. So it was better than I
Very
predict.
close. Your prediction. Yeah.
But all my assistant coaches, they look at me and they're like, "Are you crazy? Like we're not gonna win everybody." Especially that time, there is the club. Now they call themselves Brave, but what was the Villages? They dominated the conference for many years. They had a very good team, very good staff. Like Pavanelli right now is working Flamengo. Is not in the youth, like in the first team. So you see the level of people that were involved. And I'll be honest with you, that is one thing that I love. It was we went to the USL conference. I was 27 years old,
Yeah.
and I went there, and everybody kind of like looked down at me, like you the head coach,
Who's
you
this
know.
young buck here? Yeah.
And in my mentality, I'm like, I'm gonna dominate it. I'm coming for each one of you. Like, and that's my mentality. Like, I'm not scared of anybody. If any job I receive, I'm gonna find a way to succeed. And that's what I did. We went there, and I'll be honest with you, Thales, what for me represents that project, especially in the first year, was not just the wins, was the way we achieved the wins, the
Mm-hmm.
teamwork, the preparation, the joy. This, like, we were serious when we had to be serious. We play a style that everybody enjoyed to play. They would love to watch it. I'll be honest with you. I have never seen, I don't want to be like arrogant or cocky, whatever, but in that first year, I have never seen a team that dominated so many teams like we did. You know, and
Wow.
uh, and after the games, the players from the other team would tell me, "Wow, it's just hard to play against you guys."
Yeah.
Uh, and that for me is it's beautiful because that's why I say I think that's the legacy of like all the people valuing your own thing. So I think like was tragic of what happened in the on the playoffs. We lost in the first game. Like we play against a team West Virginia. Like they didn't have so many players on the bench.
Yeah.
We play really well. We missed so many chances, but they had a goal in a corner, and then we
Mm-hmm.
draw the game, and we made an individual mistake that they scored two goals, the second goal, and we scored a free kick. But the free kick came because we found a through ball. The guy was about to score the goal. The keeper came and hold the ball outside the box with his hands. It should be a
Okay.
red card,
Yeah.
and they gave it yellow card.
Mm.
And I was mad at the fourth referee because of that, and I didn't see it. But we take the free kick, we scored the goal, but actually they were right to cancel the goal. One of our players was behind the wall, and
Mm.
they
Okay. That
canceled
didn't
the
count.
goal
Yeah.
because offside. So actually, it's the right call. Nowadays, after the so many years, it's easy to admit it. That time was hard. We lost that game, so for me that was tough. And another thing that happened that for me was tough that I think I never told anybody this in any life or conversation. USL email me, actually email Nona saying congratulations to Guilherme Henry for winning Coach of the Year 2022.
Oh, wow.
And like people call me, oh, come in the office and this and that, and like kind of like everybody happy for me, especially I was very young. And then 2 days later, they announced someone else. So, and that was tough for me because like I share with my mom, with my dad, and then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's not me. But it is what it is. Like I think now I have the maturity to focus what we did was special. We qualified to the Open Cup, and that was very good.
You
And
you you did your best. You did whatever
yeah,
you could to make it
what
happen.
I control. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow, that's such an incredible story, and it goes to show that hard work does pay off, and
Hmm.
the opportunities come, but you also have to be prepared. Because I feel like a lot of people they love bringing God into things and asking and praying. What I always say is it goes both ways. You have to do your part, and when you pray, things do happen, but you have to be prepared. You can't just sit around and just ask for things to like miracles to happen, because they might knock on your door, but if you don't open, if you're not ready, if you're not prepared, so it's a combination of things. So when you talk about your friend, that it was such a blessing and it was a sign from God. I truly believe that that is absolutely right. And it's someone telling you, why don't you do this? And then you remembering that you have the friend. So when you look back and when you tell stories like that, and when you connect the dots of how things happen, it wasn't there was no coincidence. It was meant to be. It was exactly what needed to happen to put you in that position. And again, I go back to saying things happen for you, they don't happen to you. So it's always a matter of what can I learn from this? What lesson can I learn? And we just have a couple more questions. And one of them that I do have, and it's a question that I ask everyone, is I started the 1% Club at my lowest point. I was getting divorced at the time. COVID hit. I lost a business that I had. I used to bring kids from Brazil to play soccer and go to high school. Everything was shut down. So I was in a very bad place and I just didn't see light at the end of the tunnel. So all I could do was, I don't know about tomorrow. I don't know what tomorrow brings, but today I'm going to do my best. And even if it's a tiny 1%, but I am going to continue on the path. Giving up is never an option for me. So, was there ever a moment, and you've said a few, that you were like, ah, man, I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if I can continue going. When you took all your stuff back home to Brazil and you said, this is it, I'm done. So, can you recall a moment that you had to pull strength that you didn't really know you had? And because you did that, it helped shape who you are today. Was there ever a moment that you were like, oh man, I didn't even know I was this strong, but I actually am?
I'll be very honest with you, and I don't wanna to look cliche what I'm gonna say, but it's many moments, and I would say in every single chapter of my life, there were. I am someone that question everything, so it's tough because I think it's good, but at the same time it's tough because like you always think like, is that the right decision? Is that the best for me right now? Is that help me to get where I wanna? Am I learning what I have to learn?
Mm.
Um, so I think that always happened to me. I do exercise that I say that our life is like a stock in the stock market, right? If you doing something and in 5 years you are very close to where you were 5 years ago, something's wrong.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But if you go, and I'll be honest with you, it's 2025. In 2020, I was not even at Nona right now.
Yeah, yeah.
And look how many things happened to me. Look how many lessons I learned. Like, so I feel I always try to have this patience a little bit of like, I don't care, like, I'm not in a hurry to get, I'm in a hurry to learn, to go in situations that will challenge me, to have to deal with things that I'm not ready yet. Because if I
Grow.
just Because if I just do things over and over and over, it's not. And I'll be honest with you, Thales, I think last year was a year of maturity for me because I'm very comfortable on who I am, my principles, my values, and I
Yeah.
nothing external can affect what's inside of me. And I realized one thing, like I want to be in projects that I truly believe that will make an impact and that's aligned with my purpose of life. And I feel comfortable if one day I say, I'm sorry, soccer, I try my best, but maybe it's not for me anymore because
Hmm.
I know why I do that. And
Hmm.
if I don't see that happening every day, it's not for me. Because I'll be honest with you, and you know that, like United States, you, for example, I went to get my car. The guy offered me a job. He said, like, you can make twice what you make here. And I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm a human. I'm like,
That's tempting.
but you need to go back and because I will tell you this, what's happiness? Nowadays, everybody thinks happiness is related to power and money. But is that true? Because I'll be honest with you, like there were a moment of my life that I was young, I was single, I had money, I could do a lot of things, and I was going a lot of parties. I was, with good companies around me, and I was not happy. I was empty.
Hmm. Hmm.
And when I see, for example, there is a player called Leo Santos in One Ox. This kid asking me, I think, more than 1,000 questions in this whole year that we were together, and now he's going to a Division 1 college, and he's happy. He's good with his family. He's good with his girlfriend. He's good with
Wow.
himself. He scored his first professional goal there, and that for me is success. That for me is like 1 year here, and I go back home in December, and I see my family, and I see like that for me is success. Like my fiance says, like you always want more. Like you don't need money. Like you always like to do the same boring things, and that's me, and I'm okay with that. So I thought a lot of times about quitting, but I think resilience is the most important thing. And I go back to what I told you in the beginning. I believe that the processes come to shape us to become the versions that we need to be when something that we dream happens to us, you know?
Hmm.
And
Opportunity knocks. Yeah.
and I'll be honest with you, I think I'm a little filter in people's life because I think I go through so many hard situations and I learn things. And after I learn those things, I make easier for people that come in after me, and I think that's good, I think that's good. And I truly believe on this. Uh, like if you have your value, if you have a good reputation, if you have good connections, because if you're doing good things, people want to be around you, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
At some point, like I might say, you know what, I want to work with soccer, but leading projects. I don't want to be kind of on the field, and that's okay. But I think what I'm going through right now is preparing me for that. I
Hmm.
dream, I have like a professional dream. I will have like or is to be a sporting director in a soccer club, like a professional club, to oversee everything, to
Yeah.
have the culture, to choose the people, to the processes, the identity on the field, to help the coaches when they are losing games, and like to give the support because I was a coach. I know what a coach needs. I was
Know
a
what it
player.
takes. Yeah.
I was a academy director. I was a technical director. So I have going. And to be honest, one thing is funny to share. I was in ChatGPT what I need to know to be a sporting director in a major league soccer club.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like boom, 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 boom. And one thing that says, and it's true, is like college knowledge. One of the things that I don't have is college knowledge. Scouting, I know. Connections, I know. Managing processes, great. Of course, I'm not saying I'm ready to be, no, but I have like idea.
You're
But one
preparing.
thing I don't have was college. And now when this opportunity came, I'm like, let's learn about college and live in college. So that was part of my decision coming here.
Wow, such an incredible story. And how do you balance? Because you're a very likable guy. You're very you speak very well. You're obviously very smart. How do you balance the coaching side of things, having to be tough, having to impose your values and hard work, and also being likable, being someone like you were saying with Nona. after practices, being there for hours. So the players, they build that trust with you, but also the respect. Like, oh, this guy, he knows what he's talking about. How do you balance that side of the professional guy, the real coach, and then the friend, the figure of you're younger than me, but to me it would be more like a father figure, but for you maybe an
Hmm.
older brother type of
Hmm.
figure.
Hmm.
How do you find the balance? What's the art of coaching for you in that sense?
I I think we need to feed ourselves with information all the time, right? About leadership, about stories. There is a page on Instagram called Front Office. That's very nice. That shows some situations that general managers, head coaches doing Division Ones, pro clubs, and like in terms of coaching and stuff. So like I like to absorb those type of information, but I'll be very honest with you, Thales, I'm just who I am on the field. You know, it's just natural for me when it's time to be tough, when it's time to be relaxed, when I think I am very kind of I understand my players. I can read them very well. So I kind of know to balance. I'll be honest with you, my second year and on, I think I could not balance as much because I think I was overwhelmed a little bit because it was 4 years I couldn't go home. I didn't have vacation.
Oh
We had like
wow.
a crazy first year one. There was a lot of success and a lot of people, you the best, you this, you that, and opportunities. People want to come after you, and like it's exhausting a little bit to not lose the focus.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, for sure.
and and then comes Open Cup, and we start training in February, and we training every day from February all the way to August. With USL2,
That's a lot.
and every day, and we're not paying the players, and the players have kids in Brazil, and the players, and all the time it calls like, oh, Gui, you need to help me, I need to send money to Brazil, I need this, I need that, it's heavy because I was responsible to do that. So I think in the second year I kind of didn't have as much patience, but I'm a human being as well, so I feel like I recognize that maybe I was not who I am, but I just could not give that, and but I just think it's natural. I promise you, like here, it's being a new club, a new university, a new environment, new players, and I step on the field. I think I just become something else. But
Feel home.
be, being who I am, I don't have to force. I don't have to be preparing. It's just natural. I think I'm very fair person. I think I'm very honest person. I think I'm very charismatic person. If I have the confidence with you, I think I can be very. Everybody thinks I'm outgoing. I'm very introvert if I don't feel comfortable. Uh, but I think the players also, again, 80% of people hate their job. If they see someone that wants to make you better, cares about you, provides a good environment, understands that everybody's important because everybody's part of the project. I never leave people behind. I think like people respect that, and they help me to build. Like I know one of the questions we were talking was like about culture. I think culture. I think us as leaders, we dictated the shape of the format that we're gonna have. But what's gonna be inside of the format, it's on the players, it's on the staff, it's on everything. So it's not something I build alone. It's something I help to take from people because I think a lot of people have a lot to give. And I always tell this to players, like you can learn from each other. So
Oh,
why you guys don't share things? And I think that happen all the time. So that's more or less what I would say. I think the environment is important to people feel empowered to be themselves and to learn and to
see,
evolve and to
heard.
make
Yeah,
mistakes.
yeah.
I think that's what I folks should do it.
Amazing, amazing. Guy, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your time, and I want to acknowledge what you're doing is very, very admirable because you are someone that is I know for a fact that you will be a big time coach one day. You will be leading an amazing project. I can tell. I see that in your future. And I really appreciate you taking the time to spend here with us. And I hope for all the listeners, whoever is also watching us, they got a lot of lessons from it. And truly, I admire people like yourself that are out there, are not afraid, are not scared of restarting, of learning, of knowing that they don't know it all, but they are willing to always adapt and change and grow and go for the next challenge. So I want to thank you so much. I want to wish you the best of luck in your new journey there, in your new chapter in your life. And is there any advice that you want to give to someone, whether they are coaches, they're players, just regular people watching us? What kind of message, if you could, would you leave to people that maybe they're not very happy where they are? Maybe they don't have the courage to move to another state, or like you said earlier, if they're not happy in their job, not happy in their relationship, what would you say to people like that?
I first of all, I want to tell you that it's very likewise everything you said it. I admire what you're doing. I admire who you are as a person, you know, and I think that's the most important thing for anybody is you if you are a good person, you're gonna be a good professional, you know, and if you're a good professional, every project you're gonna bring value to someone. So I think that's what you're doing. Uh, and what I'm gonna say in terms of advice is it's very similar. It's I don't believe we can be successful if we're not who we are, if we are not genuine, if we're not like real to our true colors. Uh, so I would say like people need to learn who they are. And one thing I see a lot nowadays is that, you know, with social media, with all these new trends and all that, like people are stopping to be who they are and trying to be someone else. And
Mhm.
that's why they are struggling in life because it's like if I try to become an influencer right now, maybe that's not for me, but I'm being who I am, you know. So I would say kind of turn off a little bit of the noise from outside and listen who you are, listen what you care, what's your definition of happiness, what you know, because just a quick stat here, you know, I love the 1% club, but do you know how much the 1% of the world makes a year? Do you
La
have
it,
an idea?
it's less than $500, isn't something around that
I think I was reading an article that says I think it's $35,000 a year,
a year?
1%.
A
Yeah, a
year.
year.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
if
yeah.
you make that money, you are the 1% of the world. So I think we have this illusion that everybody's making so much money, that everybody's having so like that perfect life and all that, and that makes us feel like I should not chase my dreams because my dreams are behind and all that. So it's like if you know who you are, if you know what you wanna, if you know what's your priority, what makes you happy, what brings you closer to your mission in this life, because I think we all have different missions, you're gonna be successful because you're gonna feel good about your every day of life, you know. uh so yeah, I think that's the most important thing because if you know, for me, if I didn't know what I want to do with soccer, that offer to work in Florida selling cars would be tempting, but was tempting for 5 seconds until I was like, no, you know.
That's all
So I
I
think
have.
that's important. I think that's very important for everybody to know exactly what they are and what they want to do. And as you said, get in motion because I, I think what motion makes is, for example, you with the podcast, like a lot of things you don't know, but since you created, you posting on social media, you're gonna have to find out how to post it. You're gonna have to find out how to edit because you have that pressure, and pressure is the best way to force us to do something. And that's why I'm here right now in college, learning the process, learning the NCAA compliance rules, learning how to scout, learning how to. You need to put pressure on you. If not, you're never gonna be a diamond.
You're never going to be a diamond. That is absolutely right. And Guy, how can people find you? People that want to know a little bit
I
more
have to. I
about
have to
you.
check.
What is
I have
the
to check here. One sec.
And I've said to my other guests as well that I'm gonna put it in the comments and everything. I gotta figure it out how to do
Mhm.
all of that, but I'm gonna add your profile and everything,
Yeah.
the comments as well.
But my Instagram is Guilherme Henry, so with two eyes. So I think it's not too hard to find it, and it's open. I don't post so much, but I try to share some stuff that helps me to become better every day.
Comes from the heart, for sure.
Yeah.
Gui, an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, and best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much, Thales. Pleasure.